let's inspect this Kinetic Blast of Clustering Dex Stacker, Mana Stacker, Whisperer build. It's one of the most popular builds for a Whisperer. It's valid only during the Legacy of Freesia event. After it's done, the Ascendancy will cease to be. Whisperer Ascendancy for a Ranger is perfectly adapted to make use of wand attack skills or to greatly benefit from mana stacking. There are two abilities that are tailored to fit this archetype: Kinetic Blast of Clustering and Power Siphon of the Archmage. KB of Clustering deals area damage in a pattern around the target you're firing at, and it does so on impact. To fix it, you will allocate the Have You Forgotten passive and Sling Tornadoes. The An Infinite Pursuit passive grants 1 maximum mana per 1 dexterity but causes intelligence to grant no mana at all, which is a great exchange rate since we didn't plan to gain any more intelligence that is required. Reaching such high maximum mana and dexterity was until now unheard of. The two transfigured versions of wand attacks we've mentioned have built-in mana scaling. They deal added damage equal to a fraction of your total maximum mana. That's where your damage comes from. The damage is affected by increases to spell damage, which is often found on wands and the Indigon. Your projectiles will always fork, resulting in twice as many explosions. After you link KB with returning projectiles, these will explode once again at your location. Combine it with a Power Siphon on ballistas, wait a little for rage, and there is more for 4 power and 4 frenzy charges. Mana also plays the role of a protective shield after allocating Mind Over Matter and putting the Arcane Cloak on. Your mana is retained with Mana Leech from Clever Thief notable, and its Instant Leech Mastery. Your other defensive layers are Spell Suppression, Ailment Avoidance, and Evasion. Kinetic Blast is one of the most effective map clearing skills, and here it is even better with forking and returning projectiles. Even with Power Siphon ballistas, the single target damage is just not that great. It requires moderately priced items to work and very expensive items to be good. Aim to eventually wear only one unique item. This item is Indigon. However, there are still many excellent uniques that you will definitely want to put on until you get to that point. Mind of the Council grants a lot more maximum mana and lightning damage. Be sure you have some kind of shock, protection, and good mana recovery to make use of it. Fractal Thoughts has crit multiplier, damage, and a lot of dexterity if your strength is higher than intelligence. It's comparable to Mind of the Council. Indigon is the best and most expensive helmet. It's a major boost to your damage, but it requires some tinkering, lowering the mana cost and enhancing the mana gained. All your other increases to spell damage are now insignificant in comparison. Dodra's Tenure, 100% increased spell damage, is a solid damage boost with no drawback. Cyclopean Coil is an intermediary belt, but if all your resistances are fixed, you may as well use it until you can afford something better. Astromentis has tons of attributes, even intelligence and strength, that are very much required. Remember that skill gems and items impose high attribute requirements. Brutal Restraint's main role is to get you more dexterity. For the notable upgrades, look for even more dexterity. Socket it near the further notable. Watcher's Eye, you're sporting clarity, vitality, and precision. Almost all clarity mods are very desirable. Vitality has life on hit, and precision may roll excellent damage enhancements. If you need more mana recovery, look for clarity's mana recovery boons like mana on hit or chance to gain mana on skill use. The Light of Meaning Jewel may be a source of even more dexterity, but it's not as good as Brutal Restraint. Still, swap their positions if you lack other attributes. Your suppression chance is supposed to be capped at 100%. Ancestral Vision Jewel combined with an additional chance to avoid elemental ailments should render you more or less immune to elemental ailments other than these from ground effects. Your priority is dexterity, from which you will source maximum mana. Intelligence grants no mana. Your dexterity reclaims this feature and makes it twice as efficient. Maximum mana alone is important too. Mana translates directly into damage and some of your life pool. To get more damage, look for attack speed, increased elemental damage, increased spell damage until you get Indigon, crit multiplier, crit chance, and elemental penetration. Your defensive stats are pretty much only maximum life with spell suppression if it isn't capped with Magibane and dexterity alone. Be sure you have enough attributes, accuracy, and crit chance. Converting all physical damage is detrimental. With bleeding, you benefit from Cornered Prey notable and its mastery. so settle on the allocated Cold Mastery for just 40% conversion, 90% in total, or add physical damage to attacks. Body armor. Here look for maximum life, resistances, and dexterity. Maximum mana is native only to bases with energy shield, but it can be crafted. For the Eldritch mods, get the physical to elemental damage shift and crit multiplier for attacks. Look for a wand with a high base crit chance and high base attack speed. Imbued ones have attack speed, prophecy ones have crit chance. Here get maximum mana, increased spell damage, and attack speed or crit mods. Physical as extra elemental is good with Indigon and high maximum mana. Intelligence shields can roll increased spell damage and mana, making them good. Other shields will have attack speed and dexterity, also good. In both circumstances you'll probably need resistances and maximum life. Gloves, besides the usual resistances, maximum life, maximum mana and dexterity can give you attack speed and damage conversion. Just be careful and don't convert all your physical damage. For the Eldritch mods, seek damage conversion and chance to intimidate. Boots will supply you with maximum life, movement speed, resistances, dexterity, and maximum mana. For the Eldritch mods, look for action speed and chance to avoid elemental ailments. Prioritize maximum life, maximum mana, increased elemental attack damage, and resistances on the belt. If you can afford a high-end belt, get one that increases your dexterity. If you want to outclass Astromentis, the rare amulet will cost you a lot. There are many useful mods to be found, but focus on dexterity, increased dexterity, maximum life, maximum mana, and crit multiplier. Redeemer amulets can roll some of the best affixes. You'll use 2 rare rings. Here, seek mana, life, attributes, and resistances. Same things as you searched for before. Jewels. Again, mana, life, attributes, resistances, and critical strike multiplier, maybe attack speed. Scintillating Idea is the best notable to be found on large cluster jewels. Lightning damage cluster jewels may roll other fine notables, but enriching small nodes with dexterity and mana will be equally wise. Keep 1 life flask with instant life recovery, diamond, jade, silver, and quicksilver flasks. Their suffixes shall increase your evasion, critical strike chance, movement speed, and reduce the effect of curse or shock on you. Kinetic Blast of Clustering is a wand attack. This version deals added physical damage based on your maximum mana, the bread and butter of this build. It benefits from increases to spell damage. Link it up with returning projectiles, elemental damage with attacks, physical to lightning, sacred wisps, and increased critical damage support gems. Power Siphon of the Archmage is a supplementary damage source to be used in tough fights. It too scales with mana and increases to spell damage. Link it with Ballista Totem, focus Ballista, and increased critical damage support gems. Place down the Sigil of Power and spend mana while inside of it for added lightning damage. Arcane Cloak consumes most of your mana to form a defensive layer that absorbs damage. It also instantly triggers all the features that benefit from spending a lot of mana. Link them with Automation and more duration support. Automation triggers only Arcane Cloak. Sigil you have to cast yourself. Although Kinetic Blast's projectiles cannot split, Sniper's Mark is still the best mark as it increases the projectile damage taken. Link it with Mark on hit support. Spells linked to Spellslinger are triggered whenever you attack with a wand. They reserve mana, so we'll use just 1 such spell. It's a Tornado. Your projectiles can interact with Tornado, which results in a much better clear speed and damage as they fork from it. Shield Charge, a humble boost to your mobility if you plan to travel in a straight line. Link it up with faster attack support. Clarity regenerates mana. Vitality regenerates life. Precision adds accuracy and increases crit chance. These 3 auras reserve almost no mana. Blood Rage grants life leech and increases attack speed. The skill drains your life. If you have Indigon, this or other unimportant gem may be replaced with Berserk. Helping Kratin is optimal since movement speed equals better clear speed unless you play only 5 ways. Alira is good too since the need for dexterity makes capping resistances harder. For the big and small gods we went with the usual Brine King and Aberoth. Being immune to freeze and reducing the effect of chill, which affects ground effect, is great. Aberoth nullifies Burning Ground's damage. If it's the shock that you're afraid of, go for Garakan instead. The skill tree should get you a lot of dexterity and mana. Socket the nodes near the fervor notable to make a nest for brutal restraint. Make a way to Mind Over Matter Keystone, and do it as shown to pick up all the mana that's on the way. Your other keystones, also there, are Magebane and Iron Will. If you lack elemental resistances, get the small nodes near Sentinel Notable, and allocate a nearby jewel socket. Other stats to look for are maximum life, elemental damage, suppression, evasion, and crit nodes. It's vital to allocate Cornered Prey and its mastery for crit chance against bleeding enemies, Winter Spirit with its mastery for damage conversion, Multi-Shot for an additional projectile, Clever Thief or Essence Sap with their mastery for 10% instant leech, and, of course, Split Shot Notable. Other important masteries are increased attributes and a 25% chance to treat resistances as inverted. That is all you need to know about KB Whisperer, but if you have any questions, ask them in the comments. See ya.